Lunch and how do you do, buckaroos? I just finished pouring this. Let me show it to you as that head develops. Oh, there we go. Boy, that's nice. And this is a new one from Banter Brewing in Springfield, Missouri. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I do work for the brewery. Um, so you decide from there whether I am being unbiased or not. But anybody that knows me will tell you, he's going to tell you. Survivor Spirit is an Imperial Stout aged in a Blue Note bourbon barrel. Very specific there. It's in conjunction with a local Hy-Vee market who got the barrel, the Blue Note, for their single barrel pick, and then gave us the barrel to age this spirit in. It's Imperial Stout aged in a Blue Note bourbon barrel. Missouri Craft Beer introducing Survivor Spirit Imperial Stout aged in a Blue Note bourbon barrel. This barrel, salvaged from the tornado-ravaged Blue Note distillery, carries a tale of resilience. Infused with bittersweet tones of coffee, it embodies the survivor spirit. You know, I tasted this, or I used this beer for a tasting the other day, and about everybody was anybody that understood what a stout was supposed to taste like picked up those coffee notes. However, discerning few picked up those dark chocolate notes that are also very prevalent in here. They are undertones to the coffee. But yeah, you get these big dark chocolate notes as well as some toffee notes. There's certainly a lot of vanilla. And that oak is nice. You really feel that oak right in the finish as it cleans up any residual sweetness. Not as sweet as many Imperial Stouts are, which is probably why I really enjoy it. Some just get too sweet for me. I want to taste the beer. And this one really delivers. You got a beautiful Imperial Stout that's just enhanced by this amazing Blue Note barrel. That's been through a lot, man. That barrel's been through some trauma. But it kind of lived twice through the whiskey and now the beer. But yeah, you do feel those coffee notes. I'm certainly not going to downplay that. I'm going to say more espresso. But I do feel those nice dark chocolate notes. And a handful of folks yesterday picked those out when I was doing a tasting with this beer. And it went to toffee. I said, yes, yes, definitely toffee. I try not to really, when I'm doing tastings like that, I try not to give away flavors, right? I use the general descriptors, but I want them to be able to taste what they taste without me, influencing them. So when I hear them say chocolate, oh yeah, there you go, you got toffee. Oh, talk to me now. Vanilla, oh yeah, now because they read coffee in the placard there, so naturally coffee's on their mind. So, oh yeah, I taste coffee. Had one tasted, he kind of cocked his head like a confused dog. He said, chocolate? I said, yeah, like a dark chocolate, like a nice, 80% dark. He says, yeah, a little bit of toffee in there. I said, oh, man, I want to give that guy a hug, man. You got it, baby. You got it. As most Imperial Stouts, it is very complex. And then you add that bourbon barrel aspect, and it's even more complex. Is this really, or the rest of that beer in there, is this really Imperial Stout time? Well, no. But it doesn't mean you can't, there are folks like me that drink this style year round. We just drink them as often. I love when the summer comes around and I get to have those summer styles, those great German and Czech Pilsners. Anything that embodies, the season that we're in. But every once in a while, you have so many of those other beers, you really want something you got to chew a little bit on. You want something big and chewy and delicious and rich and decadent. And this beer does that in a great big way. It's big and chewy. It's rich. It's decadent. Oh, I just realized I forgot to do something. I got so enamored by that beer, I forgot to do something, man. Let me get back in business here. There we go. Anyways, I forgot to do that when I first got going. Sometimes I get so caught up in the beer that, anyways, watch you. Anybody watching, as always, if you have any questions or comments, throw it up there. I'll answer almost anything. This beer is just gorgeous. So let me show you this can. Survivor Spirit Imperial Stout aged in a bourbon barrel, Blue Note bourbon barrel, I should add. Banter Brewing, Springfield, Missouri. Beer we're talking about is their tagline. I am very grateful to be associated with this brewery. They do some amazing products, but not only that, the owners just are great folks with integrity, and it's nice to work for people like that. And they encourage me to be me, which is a little different, man. It is nice. So I love working with beer. I when I had to leave Saddlebach back in 2018, it was a tough decision, but I knew I had to do it. I had some medical issues I had to take care of. So and quite frankly, if I went back to Steve and said, "Hey, you got a position available," I'm sure he would have taken me back. But it was just a hard balance at that time between Arkansas and Missouri. So since 2018, when I left there, I in some ways I missed working with beer. But then I was kept telling myself I was moving on, moving forward. But when I had this opportunity a little over a year ago to work for Banter, yeah, I mean, it just felt like it was, it gave me a chance to learn something different. I worked in sales when I was with Saddlebox. So working with Banter, I'm now behind the bar and pouring beer and talking to people. And talking to people I knew wasn't going to be a problem for me. Getting me to set up might be an issue, but that's a story for another time. But well, yeah, I mean, I've never been a bar. I've always been kind of an amateur bartender. I mean, I bartended events, but I've really never been a professional paid bartender. So that was a bit of a learning curve there, I will admit. But it has been enjoyable, especially again with the people I work for and the people I work with, and the folks that come into that place day in and day out. I mean, it's just the greatest clientele that kind of becomes a family that looks out for each other. They all communicate with each other, even with those with different viewpoints. It's a really interesting mix in that place. I've been going to brew pubs and breweries for years, and a lot of them will have these cliques. Someone, you get a group of people that will get close, but it's always just a click here and a click there. It's never the whole ensemble. And in the case of Banter, it really is. It's the whole place. It's not you got this click and you got this click. It's daytime crowd or the nighttime crowd, and I do have some of that. But at some point, they do mingle. So it's just nice. It's been a great experience for me to learn something new in my. I like to say my third act. I hope I'm not in my last act. Or trying to reinvent myself in my third act. Well, they've just done such an amazing job with this beer. The brewer Brian, one of the owners, man, I don't know that there's a better brewer in the state, to be honest with you. Uh, he's just good, and what he's able to do is just amazing. This Imperial Stout is wow, one of the very best I've ever had, man. It's just genius, and part of me loves it because we've got another beer that's equally brilliant. The Fireside Sipper, it's Imperial Stout, but it uses some other things, macadamia nuts, vanilla beans, and that's nice. I don't have an issue with that per se. But here I have an Imperial Stout, just an Imperial Stout, aged in those bourbon barrels, and man, that just does my heart good, man. That beer is brilliant. Anyway, I digress. I'm running too long, man. I didn't mean to run so long. I get all those big coffee notes early on. Let me try to break it down a little bit. Coffee and the chocolate almost run right together. Or the chocolate note is almost a supporting, a character actor, if you will, to the star, which is the coffee notes that come out big in this Imperial Stout. But then you've got this note of toffee, a little bit of that toffee sweetness. Those notes of vanilla just run through it from beginning to end. Those big barrel notes in the finish, those big woody oak notes. And again, I'll say that one thing I really love about this beer is it doesn't get overly sweet. And that's where a lot of Imperial stouts lose me. Is they tend to get overly sweet. I love an Imperial stout that really drinks like an FES, right? Where it's more dry than sweet. That was beautiful, man. You're beautiful, babe. Don't ever change. Anyway, man, that's good. It's really freaking good. Survivor Spirit, Banter Brewing, Springfield, Missouri. On Plainview off of Camel Road. I had to go into advertising. Went to, oh, mercy. Went to salesman for no particular reason. A little advertisement. There's a lot of great breweries here in town. We now have, I believe, 11 in the area. One is technically outside of Springfield, but not by much. So we're going to include that one as well. Anyways, I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, Beer Evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor, wisdom man. All around good guy, Sunshine.